What made me get into filmmaking? It's actually a good question, but to be honest, at first it was kind of a means of me getting ahead as an actor. A means of me showcasing myself in the way that I wanted to be showcased. Me being in dream roles that I didn't necessarily have the opportunity to be put in beforehand. I got to the point where I said, hey, instead of waiting on those opportunities, I need to create it for myself. And that's what turned me into Ricky, the creator that I am now. And I'll admit that at first I didn't really, embrace that aspect of it, because I thought it would take away from me being the actor. But now I realize that that's not the case at all. I can still be both, Ricky the actor and the creator. So yeah, that's what got me my start in films. And wow, it's been quite a journey ever since. And I must say, stuff's harder than it looks. How many films have I been in? I've been in over 30 films, dating from around mid-2012, and this doesn't include films that I've personally created myself, but just roles that I was casting in general. Wow, that's... Wow, sometimes you don't even realize how much you've done until, somebody asks you about it. You have to think about the number. And I'm like, geez, wow, I did all that? As far as films I've created myself, I've created 17 in total. But of course, that number does include my superhero web series. Is actually out on YouTube right now, titled Jarmon Evolution. Most of that number includes that, but it's been a pretty good journey so far. Jarmon Evolution is a superhero-based web series that I created myself. Wrote it, directed it, produced it, and edited it. And it's been pretty fun so far. It's been a lot of fun, actually. The first 9 episodes are actually out on YouTube, and the story revolves around an alien who's named Jarmon. And he's one of the last few survivors of his lost alien race, which are known as the Zanarians. His powers include super strength, super speed, invulnerability, or bulletproof skin, as you might call it. He can fly, and he can breathe in outer space. So yeah, he has some pretty cool abilities, to say the least, that he definitely takes advantage of to the fullest when he has to. And throughout the series, you're going to see a common theme of redemption. You know, that's one of the biggest things that I've placed in this series. And not just Jarmon. You know, a lot of characters in the series are fighting for some kind of redemption. Like, for example, with Jarmon, in his past, he's committed a lot of sins, took a lot of lives, embraced his dark side, and he's fighting to this day to make up for all that, to make up for the centuries of pain, for the centuries of darkness, or the centuries of anguish that he caused upon others. And he's on a never-ending quest to save the cosmos as best as he can, along with helping others along the way. And he'll stop at nothing for the needs of others. Two of the biggest things I use for creating characters for my films are, 1, archetypes, and 2, who exactly is going to be playing the roles. What I mean by archetypes is, I guess, the types of characters you generally see in movies. Whether that be, you got the good guy, you got the bad boy, you got the loner, you got the funny guy. Like, those are some examples of archetypes. And from there, I'll develop the characters, using those formats. And then for who's playing the roles, that plays a big part of how I write that character. Like, for example, if I have a friend who I know is, like, I guess, like, the life of the party, he's the class clown, he's got to make everybody laugh, I'll write the character to have certain personality traits that person already has in real life. And that way, things will flow a lot more naturally. And like with me, for example, I guess for the most part, all my life, I've been the good guy. So a lot of my characters that I do are based upon those traits. And I've always been strong too. So a lot of my characters are the strong good guys, so to speak. Not necessarily the weak, whiny good guys, even though I could play those roles. But yep, those are just some examples of how I create characters for my films. The best piece of advice I could give to aspiring filmmakers is to don't let anything stop you. And yeah, I know that sounds all boring and cliche. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Because while you're on this journey, you're going to run into a lot of obstacles, a lot of problems. Whether that be financial problems, whether it be budgets, people, negative criticism. You're going to go through all of that, but don't let that get in the way of what you're doing. Like, for example, you're going to run into actors who flake out on you, who will cancel at you at the last minute. Believe me, it's going to happen. It's one of those things you got to get past. So if whoever it is that does that is like, let's say a supporting character is not entirely that prominent to the story, keep going. Because whatever you might rewrite in your script to fit that might be better than what you originally had planned. Believe me, I know I've had to learn that lesson a few times myself. Yeah, definitely don't miss that. But still, you guys can keep going. You can do it. And as far as money and equipment goes, don't let that stop you either. You're not always going to start with the best equipment. Now, if you have the means to get the best, then go ahead and do that. But if not, then go ahead. Just start small. Start with some little small camera. Start with your phone. Whatever you have to use to get your vision out there, start with that. Because the biggest way to not stop is to start in the first place. So go ahead, people. Start writing. Start getting your people together. Start getting your locations. Oh, that's another big thing. Don't let locations stop you either. Because you might not always be able to get the greatest locations that you could possibly get depending on where you're located at. But that's okay. Make your environment around you work. I live in a small town, so believe me, I know all about that. That's one of the things about this is you have to be able to adapt. Whether it be on 2 weeks notice or 24 hours notice, you gotta be able to adapt. So everybody, pick up your cameras. Let's make a movie. What made me want to be an actor? Well, it wasn't like this whole thing where ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of being an actor. I dreamed of being a star. I dreamed of being in the movies. No, it wasn't until I got into my early 20s that I aspired to be that. And oh man, others kind of played a part in that because I had friends and family who kind of taught me into it. You know, say I had a good look for it, good personality for it. At first, I was like, what are you talking about, man? I can't memorize lines. I don't know about that. But one day, I just went out on a whim and I saw this casting call for extras on this show called Revolution. Good show, by the way. Oh, man, I wish they would have kept that show going. But yeah, I was an extra on that show, and when I started watching the lead actors acting their roles, I heard them talk and everything. That's what made me catch the bug, and I realized that I wanted to be like them, and I've been going on this journey ever since. A movie that best describes my life that I've made, I'd have to say It's Never Too Late, which was the story of a football player named Zach, who basically did everything in his power to fit in, which included leaving behind his best friend for a better crowd. Once the popular crowd started getting more into him and how good he was at football, he slowly and slowly and slowly dispersed away from his best friend. And something I've had to learn in real life is that it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to change for others. You don't always have to fit what you think is this mold that you have to be in order for you to fit in order for people to like you, in order for people to want to be around you. No, it doesn't take that at all. Just be yourself. If my life were a book, I'll title it Go, Young Man, Go. Yes, outside of acting and making films, I work in a restaurant as my day job. But that gives me the flexibility I need to pursue my dreams. What keeps me going, I guess, is the ability to express myself creatively, and also the unpredictability of it. It's kind of keeps you on your toes. But I always keep faith that no matter what, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Who is Ricky Bell Jr.? It's actually a good question. And I know you're probably wondering, do I have a good answer? Well, let's find out. Well, by now, I'm sure you all know I am an actor in the southeast region of the industry, but it's more than that. I'm on, I guess you could say, a journey. A journey that's, for the most part, never ending. Any part of the entertainment industry is pretty much never ending. I mean, you got guys like Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood who have been around for a massively long time, longer than I've been alive, and their journey is still continuing. You know, that just goes to show how long it is, how nearly infinite it is, and I'm loving every bit of it so far. Let's see what else. I'm also a creator, an innovator. I'm the type that loves to put my vision out there. I don't quite fit the mold, I guess you could say, of what, Hollywood might be looking for, or what they think they might be looking for. But things like that don't get in my way. I don't know. Ever heard the expression, say hello to the bad guy? Well, in this case, I want you all to say hello to the good guy. Yeah, I know that sounds corny, that sounds cliche and whatnot, but hey, everybody has an archetype, just like I was saying earlier, and that just happens to be mine. And I love every bit of it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Although, I hear being a bad boy is kind of fun sometimes. Maybe I'll find out one of these days in a row. Just kidding. That you'll have to wait and see in the future. But, yep, that's me. And if you have any other questions, hey, please, please, please let me know. I am an open book. A book that's Wow, that book is pretty big by now. That book is like the Bible by now, actually bigger than the Bible, but yeah, that's me. Some other things about me is my free time. I often like to read, work out, write stories. I love to write stories. Although I kind of have this part of writing like too many different parts to a story and almost never end up finishing the stories. That's just a never ending thing once again. Let's see, my favorite foods and snacks. I know this sounds really unhealthy, but I really, really love chocolate covered peanuts. Chocolate covered almonds. There's really any kind of chocolate covered nuts, period. I love them, and I love sweetest fish. Oof, people from Switzerland, thank you for inventing those. I love those things. Those were like almost my addiction at one point. Oh man, my personality. Well, as you all know, I'm pretty much, for the most part, a nice guy. Although I can be a little naive at times. Certain things kind of fly over my head. Although that's something I've been working on as I gotten older. Let's see what else You also probably know that I'm stubborn as a mule. Like it takes a lot for me to give up. Like I gotta be broken like from the inside and out for me to really, truly give up on something that I really, really want. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you too, but the type of books I like to read. I love fantasy sci-fi novels. I just love those. Although I do read some realistic type books. Like I was more so into those back when I was in my teenage years. Like you know how they have the book fairs at the schools. Well, hey, you could probably guess I loved being there as well. Like one of my favorite books growing up was actually Julio and Romeette. I'm not sure if you all remember those, but it's pretty much a modern day version of Romeo and Juliet, except the names were kind of reversed. So I like the way they did that. that was pretty neat. Now Walter Dean Myers, it's one of my favorite authors. Him and Sharon Draper. I love those two growing up. Good people, I imagine. I would love to just be able to shake their hands. Now that to me would be an accomplishment. And my favorite actor, favorite entertainer in general is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I've watched this guy since I was like a little kid, back when he was raising his eyebrow. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? You Rudy Poo jabroni. To this day, he inspires me so much. I'll watch every one of his movies when they come out, which started with his first movie, The Scorpion King, which is also still a favorite of mine to this day, even though, 15, 16 years have passed since that movie debuted. Hey, I still love it all the same. I remember his one quote in that movie still sticks by me today, when he was his character Matthias, a.k.a. the Scorpion King. When his love interest, she's trying to warn him not to go into this great battle because she sees that he could quite possibly die. He looks her in the eyes and says, I make my own destiny. And I was like, man, that's so deep, man. Oh, man, that's so inspiring. Oh, man, he's a good guy. Well, yeah, those are some more things about me. But if you want to know anything else, please don't hesitate to ask. Next project I'm working on is titled It's Never Too Late, which is a coming-of-age story of a football player named Zach, who just won a state title in football. He gets the girls. He's hanging with the popular kids. He's pretty much a rock star, or at least that's how he should be feeling. But he's a lot more humble than that. But the problem comes when he gets paired up in a class assignment with a girl that used to be his best friend growing up. And they had a huge falling out once certain years of high school hit. Once he started getting good at football and he started hanging with the popular crowd while leaving her behind. And now they're going to have to hash out the issues. They're going to finally have to speak after, 2.5 years of no contact whatsoever. So, tensions are going to be boiling, to say the least. And I'm looking forward to bringing this to life and seeing where it goes. I'm looking forward to being in this role again. I'm starring as Zach. And I got Nomi Janelle starring as my love interest, Regina Carter. This is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Heck, you might even see my feelings get hurt. Where can you find my previous work? Just look on YouTube. My page is Ricky Bell Jr. Again, Ricky Bell Jr. You'll find my previous work as well as my superhero web series, Jarmon Evolution. And you're also going to see a picture of me, my current headshot, with me wearing red and blue. So if you're a fan of Superman, you'll recognize it. Something I want you all to take away from this interview is, hey, when it comes to this stuff, Ricky Bell Jr. is here to stay. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So, hey, you might see my face here and there. But I want you all to know, too, that no matter what circumstances you might be going through, no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what might be happening, it's okay to follow your dreams. It's okay to have dreams. Absolutely. No matter who says it's unrealistic, you can't do that, what are you doing, man? And you say, hey, I can. I absolutely freaking can. I think that to myself all the time, and hey, I genuinely believe it. Deep down inside, I believe it. And I want you all to believe in yourselves too. And hey, some of y'all I might be working with in the future. You never know. But until then, let me give y'all a high five. I do it for real, but this whole thing called distance kind of limits me on what I can do right now. You know, I'm in these walls, so I don't have my powers. I can't just speed over there right now. So it'll have to be an E high five for now. But until next time, everybody, stay in touch.